What sad news for one in love. What a hard fate to be reduced to. So, Sylvester, you have just heard at the harbor that my father is coming back.
Yes.
That he returns this very morning?
This very morning.
With the intention of marrying me?
Of marrying you.
To a daughter of Monsieur Gerant?
Of Monsieur Gerant.
And that this daughter is on her way from Tarentum for that purpose?
For that purpose.
And you have this news from my uncle?
From your uncle.
To whom my father has given all these particulars in a letter?
In a letter.
And this uncle, you say, knows all about our doings?
All our doings.
Oh, speak, I pray you. Don't go on in such a way as that and force me to wrench everything from you word by word.
But what is the use of my speaking? You don't forget one single detail, but state everything exactly as it is.
At least advise me and tell me what I ought to do in this wretched business.
I really feel as much perplexed as you, and I myself need the advice of someone to guide me.
I am undone by this unforeseen return.
And I no less.
When my father hears what has taken place, a storm of reprimands will burst upon me.
Reprimands are not very heavy to bear. Would to heaven I were free at that price. But I am very likely to pay dearly for all your wild doings, and I see a storm of blows ready to burst upon my shoulders.
Heavens, how am I to get clear of all the difficulties that beset my path?
You should have thought of that before entering upon it.
Oh, don't come and plague me to death with your unreasonable lectures.
You plague me much more by your foolish deeds.
What am I to do? What steps must I take? To what course of action have recourse?
Oh, how now, Monsieur Octave? What's the matter with you? What is it? What trouble are you in? You're all beset, I see.
Oh, my dear Scapin, I am in despair. I am lost. I'm the most unfortunate of mortals.
Oh, how is that?
Don't you know anything of what has happened to me?
No.
My father is just returning with Monsieur Gerant, and they want to marry me.
Well, what is so dreadful about that?
Oh, alas, you don't know what cause I have to be so anxious.
No, but it only depends on you that I should soon know, and I'm a man of consolation, a man who can interest himself in the troubles of young people.
Oh, Scapin, if you could find some scheme, invent some plot to get me out of this trouble that I'm in, I should think myself indebted to you for more than life.
To tell you the truth, there are few things impossible to me once I set about them. Heaven has bestowed on me a fair amount of genius for the making up of all those neat strokes of mother wit, for all those ingenious gallantries to which the ignorant and vulgar give the name of impostures, and I can boast, without vanity, that there have been very few men more skillful than I in expedients and intrigues who have acquired a greater reputation in the noble profession. But, to tell the truth, merit is too ill-rewarded nowadays, and I have given up everything of the kind since the trouble I had with a certain affair which happened to me.
How? What affair, Scapin?
An adventure in which Justice and I fell out.
Justice and you?
Yes, we had a trifling quarrel.
You and Justice.
Yes. She used me very badly, and I felt so enraged against the ingratitude of this age that I determined never to do anything for anybody. But never mind. Tell me about yourself all the same.
You know, Scapin, that 2 months ago, Monsieur Gerant and my father set out together on a voyage about a certain business in which they are both interested.
Yes, I know that.
And that both Leandra and I were both left by our respective fathers, I under the management of Sylvestre, and Leandra under your management.
Yes, I've acquitted myself quite well of my charge.
Sometime afterwards, Leandra met with a young Egyptian girl with whom he fell in love.
Ugh, I know that too.
As we are great friends, he told me at once of his love and took me to see this young girl, whom I thought good-looking, It is true, but not so beautiful as he would have had me believe. He never spoke of anything but her. At every opportunity, he exaggerated her grace and her beauty, extolled her intelligence, spoke to me with transport of the charms of her conversation, and related to me her most insignificant saying, which he always wanted me to think the cleverest thing in the world. He often found fault with me for not thinking as highly as he imagined I ought to do of the things he related to me, and blamed me again and again for being so insensible to the power of love.
I do not see where you're aiming at in all this.
One day, as I was going with him to the people who have charge of the girl with whom he is in love, we heard in a small house in a by street lamentations mixed with a good deal of sobbing. We inquired what it was, and were told by a woman that we might see there a most piteous sight in the persons of two strangers, and that unless we were quite insensible to pity, we should be sure to be touched by it.
Where will this lead to?
Curiosity made me urge Leandra to come in with me. We went into a low room where we saw an old woman dying, and with her a servant who was uttering lamentations, and a young girl dissolved in tears, the most beautiful, the most touching sight that you ever saw.
Oh. Oh.
Any other person would have seemed frightful in the condition she was in, for all the dress she had on was a scanty old petticoat with a night jacket of plain fustian, and turned back at the top of her head a yellow cap, which let her hair fall in disorder on her shoulders. And yet, dressed even thus, she shone with 1,000 attractions, and all her person was most charming and pleasant.
I begin to understand.
Had you but seen her, Scapin, as I did, you would have thought her admirable.
Oh, I have no doubt about it, and without seeing her, I plainly perceive that she must have been altogether charming.
Her tears were none of those unpleasant tears which spoil the face. She had a most touching grace in weeping, and her sorrow was a most beautiful thing to witness.
Yep, I can see all that.
All who approached her burst into tears while she threw herself in her loving way on the body of the dying woman, whom she called her dear mother. And no one could help being moved to the depths of the heart to see a girl with such a loving disposition.
Yes, this is all very touching, and I understand that all this loving disposition made you love her.
Scapin, a savage, would have loved her.
Certainly, could anyone help doing so?
After a few words with which I tried to soothe her grief, we left her. And when I asked Leandro what he thought of her, he answered coldly that she was rather pretty. I was wounded to find how unfeelingly he spoke to me of her, and I would not tell him the effect her beauty had had on my heart.
Octave, if you do not abridge your story, we shall have to stop here till tomorrow. Leave it to me to finish it in a few words. Scapin, his heart takes fire from that moment. He cannot live without going to comfort the amiable and sorrowful girl. His frequent visits are forbidden by the servant, who has become her guardian by the death of the mother. Our young man is in despair. He presses, begs, beseeches, all in vain. He is told that the young girl, although without friends and without family, is of an honorable family, and that unless he marries her, he must cease his visits. His love increases with the difficulties. He racks his brains, debates, reasons, ponders, and makes up his mind. And to cut a long story short, they have been married these past 3 days.
I see.
Now, add to this the unforeseen return of the father, who was not to be back before these 2 whole months, the discovery which the uncle has made of the marriage, and that other marriage projected between him and a daughter which Monsieur Gerant had by a second wife, whom they say he married at Tarentum.
And above all, add also the poverty of my beloved, and the impossibility there is for me to do anything for her relief.
Is that all? You are both of you at a great loss about nothing. Is there any reason to be alarmed? Oh, are you not ashamed, you, Sylvester, to fall short in such a small matter? Deuce take it all, you, big and stout as a father and mother put together, you can't find any expedient in your noodle. You can't plan any stratagem, invent any gallant intrigue to put matters straight? No, fie, a plague on the booby. I wish I'd had the two old fellows to bamboozle in former times. I should not have thought much of it, and I was no bigger than that when I'd given 100 delicate proofs of my skill. Oh.
I acknowledge that heaven has not given me your talent, and that I have not the brains like you to embroil myself with justice.
Oh, here's my lovely Yasant.
Oh, Octave, is what Sylvester has just told Noreen really true? Is your father back, and is he bent upon marrying you?
Yes, it is so, dear Yasant. And these tidings have given me a cruel shock. But what do I see? You are weeping? Why those tears? Do you suspect me of unfaithfulness? And have you no assurance of the love I feel for you?
Yes, Octave. I am sure that you love me now. But can I be sure that you will love me always?
Could anyone love you once without loving you forever?
I have heard say, Octave, that your sex does not love so long as ours, and that the ardor men show is a fire which dies out as easily as it is kindled.
Then, my dear Yasant, my heart is not like that of other men, and I feel certain that I shall love you till I die.
I want to believe what you say, and I have no doubt that you are sincere. But I fear a power which will oppose in your heart the tender feelings you have for me. You depend on a father who would rather marry you to another. And I am sure it would kill me if such a thing happened.
No, lovely Yasant, there is no father who could force me to break my faith to you, and I could resolve to leave my country and even to die rather than be separated from you. Without having seen her, I have already conceived a horrible aversion to her whom they want me to marry. And although I am not cruel, I wish the sea would swallow her up or drive her hence forever. Do not weep then, dear Yasant, for your tears kill me, and I cannot see them without feeling pierced to the heart.
Since you wish it, I will dry my tears, and I will wait without fear for what heaven shall decide.
Heaven will be favorable to us.
It cannot be against us if you are faithful.
I certainly shall be so.
Then I shall be happy.
She's not so bad after all, and I think her pretty enough.
Octave showing Scapin.
Here is a man who, if he would, could be of the greatest help to us in all of our trouble.
Oh, I have sworn with many oaths never more to meddle with anything. But if you both entreat me very much, I might.
If entreaties will obtain your help, I beseech you with all my heart to steer our bark.
Oh. And you, have you anything to say?
Like him, I beseech all that is most dear to you upon this earth to assist us in our love.
Well, I must have a little humanity and give way. There. Don't be afraid. I will do all I can for you.
Be sure that...
Go and make yourself easy. Mwah. Octave, you must prepare yourself to receive your father with firmness.
I confess that this meeting frightens me beforehand, for with him I have a natural shyness that I cannot conquer.
Yes, you must be firm from the first, for fear that he should take advantage of your weakness and lead you like a child. Now, come and try to school yourself into some amount of firmness. Be ready to answer boldly all he can say to you.
I will do the best I can.
Well, let us try a little, just to see. Rehearse your part, and let us see how well you manage. Come, look at the decision. Cataract. Bold face, bold face.
Like this.
Little more.
So,
That'll do. Now, fancy that I am your father, newly arrived. Answer me boldly, as if I were he himself. Okay? Yeah? Okay. What? You scoundrel! You good-for-nothing fellow! You infamous rascal! Unworthy son of such a father as I! Dare you appear before me after what you have done? And after the infamous trick you have played me during my absence? Is this, you rascal, the reward for all my care? Is this the fruit of my devotion? Is this the respect due me? Is this the respect you retain for me? Now then. You are insolent enough, scoundrel, to go and engage yourself without consent of your father, and contract a clandestine marriage. Answer me, you villain! Answer me! Let me hear your fine reasons! Why the deuce? You seem quite lost.
It is because I imagine I hear my father speaking.
Why, yes! And it is for this reason you must try not to look like an idiot.
I will be more resolute and will answer more firmly.
Quite sure?
I am...
Where's your father coming?
Oh, heavens, I'm lost!
Oh, no, stop! Oh, he's off. What a poor specimen it is. Let's wait for the old man all the same.
Shall I tell him?
Oh, leave him to me. Oh, only follow me.
Argante, thinking himself alone.
Did anyone ever hear of such an action?
Oh, he has already heard of the affair and is so struck by it that, although alone, he speaks aloud about it.
Argante still thinking himself alone.
Such a bold thing to do.
That's true. Let's listen to him.
Thinking himself alone.
I should like to know what they can say to me about this fine marriage.
We have it already.
Thinking himself alone.
Will they try to deny it?
No, we have no thought of doing so.
Thinking himself alone.
Or will they undertake to excuse it?
That may be.
Thinking himself alone.
Do they intend to deceive me with impertinent stories?
Maybe.
Thinking himself alone.
All they can say will be useless.
We shall see.
Thinking himself alone.
They will not take me in.
Oh, I don't know that.
Thinking himself alone.
I shall know how to put my rascal of a son in a safe place.
We shall see about that.
Thinking himself alone.
And as for that rascal Sylvestre, I will cudgel him soundly.
I would have been very much astonished if he had forgotten me.
Argante seeing Sylvestre.
Sylvestre! Here you are, most wise governor of a family, fine director of young people.
Sir, I am delighted to see you back.
Good morning, Scapin. Sylvestre, you have really followed my orders in a fine manner, and my son has behaved splendidly.
You are quite well, I see, sir.
Pretty well. Sylvestre, you don't say a word, you rascal!
Have you had a pleasant journey?
Yes, very good. Leave me alone a little to scold this villain.
Oh, you want to scold?
Yes, I wish to scold.
But whom, sir?
Argante pointing to
This
Sylvestre.
scoundrel!
Why?
Have you not heard what has taken place during my absence?
Oh, yes, I've heard some trifling thing.
Ha! Some trifling thing? Such an action as this?
Oh, you're about right.
Such a daring thing to do.
Oh, that's quite true.
To marry without a father's consent.
Yes, there's something to be said against it, but my opinion is that you should make no fuss about it.
Well, that is your opinion, but not mine, and I will make as much fuss as I please. What? Do you not think that I have every reason to be angry?
Oh, quite so. I was angry myself when I first heard, and I so far felt interested in your behalf that I rated your son well. Just ask him the fine servants I gave him, and gave him, and how I lectured him about the little respect he showed his father, whose very footsteps he ought to kiss. You could not yourself talk better to him. But what of that? I submitted to reason and considered that, after all, he had done nothing so dreadful.
Oh, what are you telling me? He has done nothing so dreadful when he goes and marries straight off a perfect stranger?
What can one do? He was urged to it by his destiny.
Oh, you give me there a fine reason. One has nothing better to do than to commit the greatest crime imaginable, to cheat, steal, and murder, and give for an excuse that we were urged to it by destiny?
Oh, me, you take my words too much like a philosopher. I mean to say that he was fatally engaged in the affair.
And why did he engage in it?
Oh, do you expect him to be as wise as you are? Can you put an old head on a young shoulders and expect young people to have all the prudence necessary to do nothing but what is reasonable? Take a look at our Leandra, who, in spite of all my lessons, has done even worse than that. But I should like to know whether you yourself were not young once, and have not played as many pranks as others. I have heard say that you were a sad fellow in your time, that you played the gallant among the most gallant of those days, and you never gave in until you had gained your point. You know what I mean?
It is true, I granted, but I always confined myself to gallantry and never went so far as to do what he has done.
But what was he to do? He sees a young person who wishes him well, for he inherits from you that all women love him. He thinks her charming, goes to see her, makes love to her, sighs as lovers sigh, does the passionate swain. She yields to his pressing visits. He pushes his fortune, yada yada yada, but her relations catch him with her and oblige him to marry her by main force.
What? Clever cheat.
Would you have him suffer them to murder him? Oh, it is still better to be married than dead.
I was not told that the thing had happened in that way.
Scapin showing Sylvestre.
Ask Silvestro if you like. You'll tell the same thing.
Sylvestre, was he married against his wish?
Yes, sir.
Oh, do you think I would tell you an untruth? Oh.
Then he should have gone at once to a lawyer to protest against the violence.
It is the very thing he would not do.
It would have made it easier for me to break off the marriage.
Break off the marriage?
Yes.
You will not break it off.
I shall not break it off?
No!
What? Have I not on my side the rights of a father? And can I not have the satisfaction for the violence done to my son?
Oh, this is the thing he will not consent to.
He will not consent to it?
No!
What?
Your son!
My son?
Your son! Would you have him acknowledge that he was frightened and that he yielded by force to what was wanted of him? No. He will take care not to confess that. And it would be to wrong himself and show himself unworthy of a father like you.
I don't care for all that.
Oh, he must, for his own honor and yours, say that he married of his own free will.
And I wish for my own honor and for his that he should say the contrary.
I am sure he will not do that.
I shall soon make him do it.
He will not acknowledge it, I tell you.
He shall do it, or I will disinherit him.
You?
I.
Nonsense!
How nonsense!
You will not disinherit him.
I shall not disinherit him?
No!
No?
No!
Well, this is really too much. I shall not disinherit my son.
No! I tell you!
Who will hinder me?
You yourself!
I?
Yes! You never have the heart to do it.
I shall have the heart.
You are joking.
I am not joking.
Oh, paternal love will carry the day.
No, it will not.
Yes, it will.
I tell you that I will disinherit him.
Rubbish!
You may say rubbish, but I will.
Gracious me, I know that you are naturally a kind-hearted man.
No, I am not kind-hearted. I can be angry when I choose. Leave off the talking. You put me out of all patience. Sylvester, go, you rascal. Run and fetch my son while I go to Monsieur Gerant and tell him of my misfortune.
Sir, if I can be useful in any way to you, you have but to order me.
I thank you. Why is he my only son? Oh, that I had with me the daughter that heaven has taken away from me so that I can make her my heir.
You are a great man, I must confess, and things are in a fair way to succeed. But on the other hand, we are greatly pressed for money, and we have people dunning us.
Leave it to me. The plan is all ready. I'm only puzzling my brains how to find out a fellow to act along with us in order to play a personage I want. But let me see. Just look at me a little. Stick out your cap rather rakishly to one side. Put on a furious look. Furious! Put your hand on your side. Walk about like a king on a stage. That'll do. Follow me. I've possessed some means of changing your face and voice.
I pray you, Scapin, don't go and embroil me with justice.
Oh, never mind. We shall share our perils like brothers, and 3 years more or less on the galleys are not sufficient to check a noble heart.
Yes, there is no doubt that with this weather we shall have our people with us today. And the sailor who has arrived from Tarentum told me just now that he had seen our man about to start with the ship. But my daughter's arrival will find things strangely altered from what we thought they would be. And what you have just told me of your son has put an end to all the plans we had made together.
Well, don't be anxious about that. I give you my word that I shall remove that obstacle, and I am going to see about it this moment.
In all good faith, Monsieur Argant, shall I tell you what? The education of children is a thing that one could never be too careful about.
You are right, but why do you say that?
Because most of the follies of young men come from the way they have been brought up by their fathers.
It is so sometimes, certainly, but what do you mean by saying that to me?
Why do I say that to you?
Yes.
Because if, like a courageous father, you had corrected your son when he was young, he would not have played you such a trick.
I see. So that you have corrected your own much better?
Certainly, and I should be very sorry if he had done anything at all like what yours has done.
And if that son, so well brought up, had done worse than even mine, what would you say?
What?
What?
What do you mean?
I mean, Monsieur Gerant, that we should never be so ready to blame the conduct of others, and that those who live in glass houses should not throw stones.
I really do not understand you.
Well, I will explain myself.
Have you heard anything about my son?
Perhaps I have.
But what?
Your servant, Scapin, in his vexation, only told me the thing roughly, and you can learn all the particulars from him or from someone else. For my part, I will go at once to my solicitor and see what steps I can take in the matter. Goodbye.
What can it be? Worse than what his son has done? I am sure I don't know what could be done more wrong than that. And to marry without the consent of one's father is the worst thing that I could possibly imagine.
Ah! Father!
Ah, here you are.
Leandre going quickly towards his father to embrace him.
How glad I am to see you!
Géronte refusing to embrace him.
Stay, I have to speak to you first.
No, allow me to embrace you, and...
Géronte refusing him again.
Gently, I tell you.
How? Father, you deprive me of the pleasure of showing you my joy at your return?
Certainly. We have something to settle, first of all.
But what?
Just stand there before me and let me look at you.
What for?
Look me straight in the face.
Well?
Will you tell me what has taken place here in my absence?
What has taken place?
Yes, what did you do while I was away?
What would you have me do, Father?
It is not I who wanted you to do anything, but who ask you now what it is you did.
I have done nothing to give you reason to complain.
Nothing at all?
No.
You speak in a very decided tone.
It is because I am innocent.
And yet, Scapin has told me all about you.
Scapin?
Oh, that name makes you change color.
He has told you something about me.
He has, but this is not the place to talk about the business, and we must go elsewhere to see to it. Go home at once. I will be there presently. Ah, scoundrel! If you mean to bring dishonor upon me, I will renounce you for my son, and you will have to avoid my presence forever.
To betray me after that fashion. A rascal who for so many reasons should be the first to keep secret what I trust him with. To go and tell everything to my father. Ah, I swear by all that is dear to me not to let such villainy go unpunished. My dear Scapin, what do I not owe to you? What a wonderful man you are, and how kind of heaven to send you to my help. Here you are, you rascal!
Sir, your servant. You do treat me too much honor. Huh.
Leandre drawing his sword.
You are setting me at defiance, I believe. And I will teach you how...
Scapin falling on his knees.
Sir!
Octave stepping between them.
Leandre! No, Octave, do not keep me back.
Sir!
Octave keeping back Leandre.
For mercy's sake.
Leandre trying to strike.
Leave me to wreak my vengeance upon him. In the name of our friendship, Leandre, do not strike him.
What have I done to you, sir?
What have you done, you scoundrel?
Octave still keeping back Leandre.
Gently. No, Octave, I will have him confess here on the spot the perfidy of which he is guilty. Yes, scoundrel, I know the trick you have played me. I have just been told of it. You did not think the secret would be revealed to me, did you? But I will have you confess it with your own lips, or I will run you through and through with my sword.
Oh, sir, could you really be so cruel as that?
Speak, I say.
I've done something against you, sir?
Scoundrel. Your conscience must tell you only too well what it is.
I assure you, I do not know what you mean.
Leandre going towards Scapin to strike him.
You do not know?
Octave keeping back Leandre.
Leandre?
Well, sir, since you will have it, I confess that I drank with some of my friends that small cask of Spanish wine you received as a present some days ago, and that it was I who made the opening in the cask and spilled some water on the ground round it to make you believe that all the wine had leaked out.
What? Scoundrel! It was you who drank my Spanish wine and who suffered me to scold the servant so much because I thought it was she who played me that trick.
Yes, sir, I am very sorry, sir.
I am glad to know this, but this is not what I am about now.
It is not that, sir?
No, it is something else, for which I care much more, and I will have you tell it me.
I do not remember, sir, that I ever did anything else.
Leandre trying to strike Scapin.
Will you speak?
Octave keeping back Leandre.
Gently.
Oh, sir. It is true that 3 weeks ago when you sent me in the evening to take a small watch to the Egyptian girl you love, I came back, my clothes spattered with mud and my face covered with blood, and I told you that I'd been attacked by robbers who had beaten me soundly and had stolen the watch from me. It is true that I told a lie, and it was I who kept the watch, sir.
It was you who stole the watch?
Yes, sir, in order to know the time.
You were telling me fine things. I have indeed a very faithful servant. But it is not this that I wanted to know of you.
It's not this?
No! Infamous wretch! It is something else that I want you to confess.
Oh, mercy on me!
Speak at once. I will not be put off.
Sir, I have done nothing else!
Leandre trying to strike Scapin.
Nothing else?
Octave stepping between them.
I beg.
Well, sir, you remember that ghost that 6 months ago cudgeled you soundly and almost made you break your neck down a cellar where you fell whilst running away?
Well,
It was I, sir. It was playing the ghost.
was you, wretch, who were playing the ghost?
Only to frighten you a little and to cure you of the habit of making us go out every night as you did.
I will remember, in proper time and place, all I have just heard. But I'll have you speak about the present matter and tell me what it is you said to my father.
What I said to your father?
Yes, scoundrel, to my father.
Why, I've not seen him since his return.
You have not seen him.
No, sir.
Is that the truth?
The perfect truth, and he shall tell you so himself.
And yet, it was he himself who told me.
With your leave, sir, he did not tell you the truth.
Sir, I bring you very bad news concerning your love affair.
What is it now?
The Egyptians are on the point of carrying off Zabinette. She came herself all in tears to ask me to tell you that unless you take to them before 2 hours are over the money they have asked you for her, she will be lost to you forever.
2 hours?
2 hours.
My dear Scapin, I pray you to help me.
Scapin rising and passing proudly before Leandre.
Ah, my dear Scapin. I am dear Scapin, now that I am wanted.
I will forgive you all that you confessed just now, and more, also.
No, forgive me nothing. Run your sword through and through my body. I should be perfectly satisfied if you were to kill me.
I beseech you, rather, to give me life by serving my love.
Nay, better kill me.
You are too dear to me for that. I beg of you to make use of that wonderful genius of yours, which can conquer everything.
Certainly not. Kill me, I tell you.
For mercy's sake, don't think of that now, but try to give me the help I ask. Oh, Scapin, you must do something to help him.
How can I after such abuse?
I beseech you to forget my outbursts of temper and to make use of your skill for me. I add my entreaties to his.
I cannot forget such an insult.
You must not give way to such resentment, Scapin. Could you forgive me, Scapin, in this cruel extremity?
To come and all of a sudden and insult me like that.
I was wrong. I acknowledge.
To call me a scoundrel, knave, ooh, infamous wretch.
I'm really very sorry.
To wish to send your sword through my body.
I ask you to forgive me with all my heart. And if you want to see me at your feet, I beseech you, kneeling, not to give me up. Scapin, you cannot resist that.
Well, get up. Another time, remember not to be so hasty.
Will you try to act for me?
We'll see.
But you know that time presses.
No, don't be anxious. How much is it you want?
500 crowns.
You.
200 pistols.
I must extract this money from your respective father's pockets. Octave, far as yours concerned, my plan is all ready. Leandre, as for yours, although he is the greatest miser imaginable, we shall find it far easier still. For you know that he is not blessed with too much intellect, and I look upon him as a man who will believe anything. This cannot offend you. There's not a suspicion of resemblance between him and you know what the world thinks, that he is your father in name only.
Gently, Scapin.
Besides, what does it matter? But Monsieur Octave, I see your father coming. Let's begin by him, since he is the first to cross our path. Vanish. Both of you. Bzz. Oh, and Octave. Please tell Sylvestre to come quickly and take his part in the affair. Bzz. Here he is, turning it over in his mind.
Argante thinking himself alone.
Such behavior and such lack of consideration. To entangle himself in an engagement like that. Rash youth.
Your servant, sir!
Good morning, Scapin.
Oh, you are thinking of your son's conduct.
Yes, I acknowledge that it grieves me deeply.
Sir, life is full of troubles, and we should always be prepared for them. I was told a long time ago the saying of an ancient philosopher, which I have never forgotten.
Oh, what was it?
That if the father of a family has been away from home for ever so short a time, he ought to dwell upon all the sad news that may greet him in his return. He ought to fancy his house burnt down, his money stolen, his wife dead, his son married, his daughter ruined. Very thankful for whatever falls short in all this. In my small way of philosophy, I have ever taken this lesson to heart, and I never come home, but I expect to have to bear with the anger of my masters, their scoldings, insults, kicks, blows, and horsewhippings, and I always thank my destiny for whatever I do not receive.
Well, that's all very well, but this rash marriage is more than I can put up with, and it forces me to break off the match I had intended for my son. I have come from my solicitors to see if we can cancel it.
Well, sir, if you will take my advice here, you will look to some other way of settling this business. you know what a lawsuit means in this country, and you'll find yourself in it's a strange bush of thorns.
I am fully aware that you are quite right. But what else can I do?
Oh, I think I have found something that will answer much better. The sorrow that I felt for you made me rummage in my head to find some means of getting you out of trouble, for I cannot bear to see kind fathers a prey to grief without feeling sad about it. And besides, I've had all times had the greatest respect for you.
I am much obliged to you.
Then you must know that I went to the brother of the young girl whom your son has married. He's one of those fire eaters, one of those men who are all sword thrusts, who think nothing of fighting and who think no more of killing a man and swallowing a glass of wine. I got him to speak of this marriage. I showed him how easy it would be to have it broken off because of the violence used towards your son. I spoke to him of your prerogatives as father and the weight which your rights, your money, and your friends would have with justice. I managed him so that at last he lent a ready ear for propositions I made him of arranging the matter amicably for a sum of money. In short, he will give his consent to the marriage being cancelled, provided you pay him well.
And how much did he ask?
Oh, at first things utterly out of the question.
But what?
Oh, things utterly extravagant.
But what?
Oh, he spoke of no less than 500 or 600 pistoles.
500 or 600 agnews to choke him with all. Does he think me a fool?
Oh, just what I told him. I laughed his proposal to scorn and made him understand that you were not a man to be duped in that fashion. No, and of whom anyone could ask 500 or 600 pistoles. However, after much talking, this is what we decided upon. The time has now come, he said, when I must go and rejoin the army. I'm buying my equipment, and the want of money I am in forces me to listen to what you propose. I must have a horse, and cannot obtain one at all fit for service under 60 pistoles.
Well, yes, I am willing to give 60 pistoles.
He must also have the harness and the pistols, and that will cost very nearly 20 pistoles more.
20 and 60 makes 80.
Exactly.
It's a great deal. Still, I consent to it.
Oh, he must also have a horse for his servant, which we may expect will cost at least 30 pistoles.
How the deuce? Let him go to Jericho. He shall have nothing at all.
Sir.
No, he's an insolent fellow.
Would you have his servant walk?
Let him go along as he pleases. And his master, too.
Now, sir, really don't go and hesitate for so little. Don't have recourse to law, I beg of you, which rather give all he has asked of you and save yourself from the clutches of justice.
Well, I will bring myself to give these 30 pistoles also.
I must also have, he said, a mule to carry the...
Let him go to the devil with his mule. This is asking too much. We will go before the judges.
Oh, I beg of you, sir.
No, I will not give in.
No, sir, just one small mule.
No, not even an ass.
Consider...
No, I tell you, I prefer to going to law.
Oh, sir. What are you talking about? And what a resolution you're going to take. Just cast a glance at the ins and outs of justice, look at the number of appeals, of stages of jurisdiction, how many embarrassing procedures, how many ravening wolves through whose claws you will have to pass, sergeants, solicitors, counsels, registrars, substitutes, recorders, judges, and their clerks. There's not one of those who, for the merest trifle, couldn't knock over the best case in the world. A sergeant will issue false writs without your knowledge of anything about it. Your solicitor will act in consort with the enemy and sell you for ready money. Your counsel, bribed in the same way, will be nowhere to be found when the case comes on, or else will bring forth arguments which are the merest shooting in the air, never come to a point. The registrar will issue writs and decrees against you for contumacy. The recorder's clerks will make away with your papers, or the instructing officer himself will not say what he has seen and when. By the dint of the wariest possible precautions, you've escaped all these traps. You will be amazed that your judges have been set against you either by bigots or by the women they love.
Oh, heaven forfend.
Ah, sir, save yourself from such a hell, if you can. 'Tis damnation in this world to have to go to law, and the mere thought of a lawsuit is enough to drive me to the other end of the world.
How much does he want for the mule?
For the mule, for his horse, and for that servant, and for the harness and pistols, and to pay a little something he owes the hotel. Altogether, 200 pistoles, sir.
200 pistoles?
Yes.
Argant walking about angrily.
No, we will go to law.
Recollect what you were doing.
I shall go to law.
Oh, don't go and expose yourself to the...
I will go to law.
But to go to law, you need money. You must have money for the summons. You must have money for the rolls, for prosecution, attorneys' introduction, solicitors' advice, and for his days in court. You must have money for the consolations and pleadings of the council, for the right of withdrawings of griefs and for engrossed documents of copies. You must have money for the reports of the substitutes, for the court fees of the conclusions, for the registrar's enrollment, for the drawing up of deeds, for sentences, decrees, rollings, signings, and clerk dispatches. Let alone all the presents you will have to make. Give this money to the man, and there you are well out of the whole thing.
200 pistoles?
Yes! And you will save by it. I have made a small calculation in my head of all that justice costs, and I find that by giving 200 pistoles to the man, you will have a large margin left. I'd say at least 150 pistoles, without taking consideration the cares, troubles, and anxieties which you will spare yourself, were it only to avoid being before everybody the bed of some facetious counsel. I had rather give 300 pistoles than go to law.
No, I don't care for all that. And I challenge all the lawyers to say anything against me.
You'll do as you please, but in my place, I would avoid a lawsuit.
I will never give 200 pistoles.
Ah, here is our man.
Show me that Argant who is the father of Octave.
What for, sir?
I have just been told that he wants to go to law with me and to have my sister's marriage annulled.
I don't know if such is his intention, but he won't consent to give the 200 pistoles he asked. He says it's too much.
Squad! Seth! If I can but find him, I'll make mincemeat of him, were I to be broken alive on the wheel afterward.
Argant hides, trembling behind Scapin.
But, sir, the father of Octave is a brave man, and perhaps he will not be afraid of you.
Ah, will he not? Squad! Seth! If he were here, I would in a moment run my sword through his body.
Seeing
Where's
Argant.
that man?
Oh, he's not the man, sir. He's not the man.
Is he one of his friends?
No, sir, on the contrary, he's his greatest enemy.
His greatest enemy?
Yes.
Ah, Dunes, I am delighted at it! You are an enemy of that scoundrel Argant, are you?
Yes, yes, I assure you that is so.
Sylvestre shaking Argant's hand roughly.
Shake hands! Shake hands! I give you my word. I swear upon my honor, by the sword I wear, by all the oaths I can take, that before the day is out, I shall have delivered you of that rascally knave, of that scoundrel Argant! Trust me.
Oh, but sir, violent deeds are not allowed in this country.
I don't care, and I have nothing to lose.
Oh, he will certainly take his precautions. He has relations, friends, servants who will take his part against you.
Thunder! It is all I ask! All I ask!
Drawing his sword.
Ah's death! Ah's blood! Why can I not meet him at this very moment with all these relations and friends of his? If he would only appear before me, surrounded by a score of them! Why do they not fall upon me, arms in hand?
Standing upon his guard.
What? You villains! You dare to attack me? Death! Kill and slay!
He lunges out on all sides as if he were fighting many people at once.
No quarter! Lay on! Thrust! Firm! Again! Eye and foot! Ah, knaves! Ah, villains! Ha ha! You shall have a taste of it! I'll give you your fill! Come on, you rabble! Come on! Stick to it! Now then! Parry! Now then! Ha!
Turning towards Argant and Scapin.
Parry this! Parry! You draw back? Stand firm, man! Never flinch, I say!
Sir, we have nothing to do with it.
That will teach you to trifle with me!
Well, whew. Sir, you see how many people are killed for 200 pistoles. Now, wish you good morning.
Argant all trembling.
Scapin?
What did you say?
I will give the 200 pistols.
Ah, I'm very glad of it for your sake.
Oh, let us go to him. I have them with me.
No. Better give it to me. He must not, for your honor. You must not, for your honor, appear in this business now that you have passed for another. And besides, I should be afraid that he would ask for more if he knew who you were.
True. Still, I should be glad to see to whom I give my money.
Do you mistrust me then?
Oh no, but
Don't, sir. Either I am a thief or an honest man, one or the other. Do you think I would deceive you? And that in all of this I have any interest at heart other than yours and my master, whom you want to take into your family? If I've not all of your confidence, if I'm no more to do with all this, and you can look for somebody else to get you out of this mess.
well, here then.
Oh, no, sir. I do not trust your money with me. I would rather you trusted another with your message.
Ah, me. Here.
No, sir, I tell you, do not trust me. Who knows if you do not want to steal your money from you?
Take it, I tell you, and don't force me to ask you again. However, mind you have an acknowledgement from him.
Oh, trust me, sir, he hasn't to do with an idiot.
Well, I will go home and wait for you.
I shall be sure to go. Oh, that's one, all right. Now for the other. Ah, here he is. They're sent after me one after the other to fall into my trap. Ha ha.
Scapin affecting not to see Géronte.
Oh, heaven! Oh, unforeseen misfortune! Oh, unfortunate father, poor Géronte! What will you do?
What is he saying there with that doleful face?
Can no one tell me where to find Monsieur Géronte?
What is the matter, Scapin?
Scapin running about on the stage and still affecting not to see or hear Géronte.
Where could I meet him to tell him of his misfortune?
Géronte stopping Scapin.
What is the matter?
Oh, in vain I run everywhere to meet him. I cannot find him.
Here I am.
He must have hidden himself in some place where nobody can guess.
Géronte stopping Scapin again.
Oh, I say, are you blind? Can't you see me?
Oh! Oh! Oh, sir! Oh! It is impossible to find you.
I have been near you for the last half hour. What is it all about?
Oh! Sir!
Well?
Oh, your son, sir!
Well, my son?
He has met with the, strangest misfortune you have ever heard of.
What is it?
Oh, this afternoon, I found him looking very sad about something which you had said to him, in which you had very improperly mixed my name. While trying to dissipate his sorrow, we went and walked about in the harbor. Yes, there, among other things, was to be seen a Turkish galley. A young Turk with a gentlemanly look about him invited us to go in and held out his hand to us. We went in. Oh, he was most civil to us, gave us some lunch with the most excellent fruit and best wine you have ever seen.
What is there so sad about all this?
Wait a little. It is coming. Whilst we were eating, the galley left the harbor. And when in the open sea, the Turk made me go down into a boat and sent me to tell you that unless you sent by me 500 crowns, he would take your son prisoner to Algiers.
What? 500 crowns?
Yes, sir, and moreover, he gave me only 2 hours to find them in.
Ah, the scoundrel of a Turk to murder me in that fashion.
Oh, it is for you, sir, to see quickly about the means of saving from slavery a son whom you love so tenderly.
What the deuce did he want to go in that galley for?
Oh, he had no idea what would happen.
Go, Scapin, go quickly and tell that Turk that I shall send the police after him.
The police? In the open sea? Are you joking?
What the deuce did he want to go in that galley for?
A cruel destiny will sometimes lead people.
Listen, Scapin, you must act in this the part of a faithful servant.
Oh, how, sir, how?
You must go and tell that Turk that he must send me back my son, and that you will take his place until I have found the sum he asks.
Ah, sir, do you know what you're saying? Do you fancy that the Turk will be foolish enough to receive a poor wretch like me in your son's stead?
What the deuce did he want to go in that galley for?
He could not foresee his misfortune. However, sir, remember he has only given me 2 hours.
You say that he asks for
500 crowns.
500 crowns? Has he no conscience?
The conscience of a Turk.
Does he understand what 500 crowns are?
Yes, sir, he knows that 500 crowns are 1,500 francs.
Does the scoundrel think that 1,500 francs are to be found in the gutter?
Oh, such people will never listen to reason.
But what the deuce did he want to go in that galley for?
What a waste of words. Leave the galley alone. Remember that time presses and that you are running the risk of losing your son forever. Alas, my poor master, perhaps I shall never see you again, and at this very moment, whilst I am speaking to you, they are taking you far away to make a slave of you in Algiers, but heaven is my witness that I did all I could, and that if you are not brought back, it is owing to the want of love of your father.
Wait a minute, Scapin. I will go and fetch that sum of money.
Oh, be quick then, for I'm afraid of not being in time.
You said 400 crowns, did you not?
No, 500 crowns.
500 crowns!
Yes.
What the deuce did he want to go in that galley for?
Quite right. But be quick.
Could he not have chosen another walk?
Oh, it is true, but act promptly.
Cursed galley!
The galley sticks in his throat.
Here, Scapin, I had forgotten that I had just received this sum in gold, and that I had no idea it would so soon be wrenched from me.
Taking his purse out of his pocket and making as if he were giving it to Scapin.
But mind you, tell that Turk that he is a scoundrel.
Oh, yes.
An infamous wretch.
Yes.
A man without conscience. A thief.
Leave that to me.
That,
All right.
that if I ever catch him, he will pay for it.
Yep.
Géronte putting the purse back in his pocket.
Go quickly and fetch my son.
Scapin running after him.
Hello. No, sir.
Well?
And the money?
Did I not give it to you?
No, indeed, you put it back in your pocket.
It is grief which troubles my mind.
Oh, so I see.
What the deuce did he want to go in that galley for? Cursed galley. Scoundrel of a Turk. May the devil take you.
He can't get over the 500 crowns I wrenched from him. But he has not done yet with me, and I will make him pay the different money as impostor he dealt me to his son.
Well, Scapin, have your plans been successful? Have you done anything towards alleviating my sorrow?
No. Octave, here are the 200 pistoles I got from your father.
How happy you make me.
Leandra, I can do nothing for you.
Leandre going away.
Then I must die, sir, for I could not live without Zerbinette.
Oh, no, stop. My goodness, how quick you are. Ugh.
What could become of me?
Oh, there. I have all you want.
You bring me to life again.
But I give it you only on one condition, which is that you will allow me to revenge myself a little on your father for the trick he has played on me.
You may do as you please.
You promise it to me? Before witnesses?
Yes.
There. Take these 500 crowns.
I will go at once and buy her whom I adore.
Yes, your lovers have decided that you should be together, and we are acting according to their orders.
But an order has nothing in it but what is pleasant to me. I receive such a companion with joy, and it will not be my fault if the friendship which exists between those we love does not also exist between us two.
I accept the offer, and I am not one to draw back when friendship is asked of me.
And when it is love that is asked of you?
Love is a different thing. One runs more risk, and I feel less determined.
Oh, you are determined enough against my master, and yet What he has done for you ought to give you confidence enough to respond to his love as you should.
As yet, I only half trust him, and what he has just done is not sufficient to reassure me. I am of a happy disposition, and I am very fond of fun, it is true. But though I laugh, I am serious in many things. And your master will find himself deceived if he thinks that it is sufficient for him to have bought me, for me to be altogether his. He will have to give something else besides money, and for me to answer to his love as he wishes me. He must give me his word with an accompaniment of certain little ceremonies which are thought indispensable.
It is so he understands this matter. He only wants you to be his wife. And I am not a man to have mixed in this business if he meant anything else.
I believe it, since you say so, but I foresee certain difficulties with the father.
We shall find a way of settling that.
The similarity of our fate ought to strengthen the tie of friendship between us. We are both subject to the same fears, both exposed to the same misfortune.
You have this advantage, at least, that you know who your parents are, and that sure of their help, when you wish to make them known, you can secure your happiness by obtaining a consent to the marriage you have contracted. But I, on the contrary, I have no such hope to fall back upon, and the position I am in is little calculated to satisfy the wishes of a father whose whole care is money.
That is true, but you have this in your favor, that the one you love is under no temptation of contracting another marriage.
A change in a lover's heart is not what we should fear the most. We may justly rely on our own power to keep the conquest we have made. But what I particularly dread is the power of the fathers, for we cannot expect to see them moved by our merit.
Alas, why must the course of true love never run smooth? It would be to love with no link wanting in those chains which untie two hearts.
How mistaken you are about this. Security in love forms a very unpleasant calm. Constant happiness becomes wearisome. We want ups and downs in life, and the difficulties which generally beset our path in this world revive us and increase our sense of pleasure.
Do tell us, Scapin, all about that stratagem of yours, which I was told is so very amusing, and how you managed to get some money out of your old miser. You know that the trouble of telling me something amusing is not lost upon me, and that I well repay those who take the trouble by the pleasure it gives me.
Oh, Sylvester here will do that as well as I. I am nursing in my heart a certain little scheme of revenge, which I mean to enjoy thoroughly.
Why do you recklessly engage in enterprises that may bring you into trouble?
Oh, I delight in dangerous enterprises.
As I've told you already, you would give up on this idea if you would listen to me.
I prefer listening to myself.
Why the deuce do you engage in such a business?
Huh?
Why the deuce do you engage in such a business?
Why the deuce do you trouble yourself about it?
It is because I can see that you will, without necessity, bring a storm of blows upon your shoulders.
Ah, well, be it on my shoulders and not yours.
It is true you are the master of your own shoulders and at liberty to dispose of them as you please.
Such dangers never stop me. I hate those fearful hearts which, by the dint of thinking about what may happen, never undertake anything.
But we shall want you, Scapin.
Oh, yes, moi, but I shall soon be with you again, moi. Never be said that a man with less impunity put me in a position of betraying myself and of revealing secrets which were better should not be known.
Scapin, and how have we succeeded about my son's mischance?
Oh, your son is safe, sir. But you now run the greatest danger imaginable. And I sincerely wish you were safe in your house.
How's that?
While I am speaking to you, there are people who are looking out for you everywhere.
For me?
Yes!
But who?
The brother of that young girl whom Octave has married. He thinks that you're trying to break off that match because you intend to give your daughter the place that she occupies in the heart of Octave, and he's resolved to wreak his vengeance upon you. All his friends, men of the sword like himself, are looking out for you and are seeking you everywhere. I've met with scores here and there, soldiers of his company, who question everyone they meet, and occupy in companies all the thoroughfares leading to your house, that so you cannot go home, either to the left or the right, without falling into their hands.
What can I do, my dear Scapin?
Oh, I'm sure I don't know, sir. It's an unpleasant business. I tremble for you from head to toe, and wait a minute.
Scapin goes to see if anybody is coming.
Well?
Oh. It is nothing, sir.
Could you not find out some means of saving me?
Oh, I can indeed think of one, but I should run the risk of a sound beating.
Scapin, show yourself a devoted servant. Do not forsake me, I pray you.
I will do all that I can. I feel for you a tenderness which renders itself impossible for me to leave you without help.
Be sure that I will reward you for it, Scapin. And I promise you this coat of mine, when it is a little more worn.
Wait a minute! I have just thought, at the proper moment, of the very thing to save you. You must get into this sack, and I...
Géronte thinking he sees somebody.
Oh, no, there's nobody. As I was saying, you must get in here, and you must be very careful not to stir. I will put you on my shoulders and carry you like a bundle of something or other. I shall thus be able to take you through your enemies and see you safe into your house. When there, we will barricade the door and send for help.
A very good idea.
Oh, the best possible you will see. And you will pay me for that lie.
What?
I only said your enemies will be finally caught. Get in, right to the bottom. And above all things, be careful not to show yourself, not to move, whatever may happen.
You may trust me to keep still.
Hide yourself! Here comes one of the bullies. He's looking for you.
What? I shall not have the pleasure to kill this Gerant, and we will not in charity show me where he is.
Do not stir.
Party, I will find him if he lied in the middle of the heart.
Do not show yourself.
Ho! You, man with the sick.
Sir?
I will give thee £1 if thou wilt tell me where this Gerant is.
Oh, you are looking for Monsieur Gerant?
Yes, that I am.
On what business, sir?
On what business?
Yes.
I will, pardie, thrash him with one stick to dead.
Oh, sir, people like him are not thrashed with sticks, and he is not a man to be treated so.
What, this fab of a Gerant, this brute, this kit?
Oh, Monsieur Gerant, sir, is neither a fob, a brute, nor a cad, and you ought to, if you please, speak differently.
Oh, what, he is speaking so mighty with me.
I'm defending as I ought an honorable man who is maligned.
Are you a friend of this Geront?
Yes, sir, I am.
Aha, if you're a friend of him, that is good luck.
Beating the sack several times with the stick.
Here is what I give you for him.
Calling out as if he received the beating.
Pray,
There, bear him that for me. Goodbye.
The wretch, oh.
Scapin, I can bear it no longer.
Oh, sir, I am bruised all over and my shoulders are as sore as can be. Oh.
How? It was on mine he laid his stick.
Oh, I beg your pardon, sir. It was on my back.
What do you mean? I'm sure I felt the blows and feel them still.
Oh, I tell you, sir, it was only the end of his stick that reached your shoulders.
You should have gone a little farther back than to spare me.
Scapin pushing Géronte's head back into the sack.
Take care. Here is another man who looks like a foreigner. Friend, me run like one Dutchman, and me not find all the way this traitful Geront. Hide yourself well. Tell me, you, sir gentleman, where it is find their Geront that me look for. Oh, sir, I do not know where Geront is. Tell me truthful, I don't want much with him, only to give him 1,000 blows with my stick, and 2 or 3 runs through with my sword through his chest. I assure you, sir, I do not know where he is. I see that something shake in that sack. Oh, excuse me, sir. I'm pretty sure there's something or other in that sack. Not at all, sir. Me would like to give one blow of the sword in that sack. Sir, beware, pray you of doing so. But show me then what is in there. Gently, sir. Why gently? You have nothing to do with what I am carrying. Aha, but I will see. You will not see. What trifling! It is some clothes of mine. Show me them, I tell you. I will not. You will not? No! I will make you feel this stick upon the shoulders. I don't care. You will post.
Striking the sack and calling out as if he were beaten.
Ow! Goodbye! That is one little lesson I will teach you to speak so insolent. Greyhound playing the crazy janitor.
Géronte looking out of the sack.
My bones are broken.
I am dying.
Why the deuce did they strike on my back?
Scapin pushing Géronte's head back into the bag.
Now take care. I see half a dozen soldiers coming together. Now we will discover Geront. Let us look everywhere carefully.
We will spare no trouble. Scour the town and not forget one single spot.
Let us search on all sides. Which way do we go? Let's go that way.
No, this.
On the left. On the right. No. Yes. Hide yourself well.
Here is his servant. I see you, rascal. You must tell us where your master is. Speak! Be quick at once, make haste! Now, march now!
Gentlemen, a moment!
Géronte looks quietly out of the bag and sees Scapin's trick.
If you will not tell us at once where your master is, we will shower a rain of blows on your back. I'd rather suffer anything than tell you where my master is. Very well, we will cudgel you soundly. Do as you please. You want to be beaten, then I will never betray my master.
You will have it there.
As Scapin is going to strike, Géronte gets out of the bag and Scapin runs away.
Infamous wretch! Rascal! Scoundrel! Is it thus that you murder me?
Zerbinat without seeing Géronte.
I must really come and breathe a little.
Géronte not seeing Zerbinat.
I will make you pay for it.
Zerbinat not seeing Géronte.
What an amusing story. What a good dupe that old man is.
This is no matter for laughter, and you have no business to laugh at it.
Why? What do you mean, sir?
I mean to say that you are not to laugh at me.
Laugh at you?
Yes.
How? Who is thinking of laughing at you?
Why do you come and laugh in my face?
Oh, this has nothing to do with you. I am only laughing with myself at the remembrance of a story which has just been told me. The most amusing story in the world. I don't know if it is because I am interested in the matter, but I never heard anything so absurd as the trick that has just been played by a son to his father to get some money out of him.
By a son to his father to get some money out of him?
Yes, and if you are at all desirous of hearing how it was done, I will tell you the whole affair. I have a natural longing for imparting to others the funny things I know.
Pray tell me that story.
Willingly. I shall not risk much by telling you, because for it is an adventure which is not likely to remain secret long. Fate placed me among one of those bands of people who are called Egyptians, and who, tramping from province to province, tell you your fortune and do many other things besides. When we came to this town, I met a young man who, on seeing me, fell in love with me. From that moment, he followed me everywhere, and like all young men, he imagined that he had but to speak and things would go as he liked. But he met with a pride which forced him to think twice. He spoke of his love for the people in whose power I was, and found them ready to give me up for a certain sum of money. But the sad part of the business was that my lover found himself exactly in the same condition as most young men of good family. That is, without any money at all. His father, although rich, is the veriest old skinflint and greatest miser you ever heard of. Wait a moment. What is his name? I don't remember it. Can't you help me? Can't you name someone in this town who is known to be the most hard-fisted old miser in the place?
No.
There is in his name some Ront. Or Ront? No, Géronte. Oui, Géronte. That's my miser name. I have it now. It is the old churl, I mean. Well, to come back to our story, our people wish to leave this town today, and my lover would have lost me through his lack of money if, in order to wrench some out of his father, he had not made use of a clever servant he has. As for that servant's name, I remember it very well. His name is Scapin. He is a most wonderful man and deserves the highest praise.
Ah, the wretch.
But just listen to the plan, huh? He adopted to take in his dupe. I cannot think of it without laughing heartily. He went to that old screw and told him that while he was walking about the harbor with his son, they noticed a Turkish galley, that a young Turk had invited them to come in and see it, that he had given them some lunch, and that while they were at table, the galley had gone into the open sea, that the Turk had sent him alone back with the express order to say to him that unless he sent him 500 crowns, he would take his son to be a slave in Alger. Comme si. You may imagine our miser, our stingy old curmudgeon in the greatest anguish, struggling between his love for his son and his love for his money. Those 500 crowns that are asked of him are 500 dagger thrusts. He cannot bring his mind to tear out, as it were, this sum from his heart, and his anguish makes him think of the most ridiculous means to find money for his son's ransom. He wants to send the police into the open sea after the Turks' galley. He asks his servant to take the place of his son till he has found the money to pay for him. Money he has no intention of giving, huh? He yields up to make the 500 crowns, 3 or 4 old suits which are not worth 30, huh? The servant shows him each time how absurd is what he proposes, and each reflection of the old fellow is accompanied by an agonizing, "But what the deuce did he want to go in that galley for? Ah, cursed galley! Ah, scoundrel of a Turk!" At last, after many hesitations, after having sighed and groaned for a long time, huh? But it seems to me that my story does not make you laugh. What do you say to it?
What I say, that the young man is a scoundrel, good-for-nothing fellow who will be punished by his father for the trick he has played him. That the Egyptian girl is a bold, impudent hussy to come and insult a man of honor who will give her what she deserves for coming here to debauch the son of good families. And that the servant is an infamous wretch whom Charente will take care to have hung before tomorrow is over.
Where are you running away to? Do you not know that the man you were speaking to is your lover's father?
I have just begun to suspect that it was so, and I related to him his own story without knowing who he was.
What do you mean by his own story?
I was so full of that story that I longed to tell it to somebody. But what does it matter? So much the worse for him. I do not see that things can be made either better or worse.
You must have been in a great hurry to chatter, and it is indiscretion indeed not to keep silent on your own affairs.
Oh, he would have heard it from somebody else.
Argante behind the scenes.
Hello, Sylvestra.
Go away, my master is calling me.
So, you agreed, you rascals. You agreed, Scapin, you and my son, to cheat me out of my money, and you think that I'm going to bear it patiently?
Upon my word, sir, if Scapin is deceiving you, it is none of my doing. I assure you that I have nothing whatsoever to do with it.
We shall see, you rascal. We shall see. And I am not going to be made a fool of for nothing.
Ah, Monsieur Argante, you see me in the greatest trouble.
And I am in the greatest sorrow.
This rascal Scapin has got 500 crowns out of me.
Yes, and this same rascal Scapin 200 pistoles out of me.
He was not satisfied with getting those 500 crowns, but treated me besides in a manner I am ashamed to speak of. But he shall pay me for it.
I shall have him punished for the trick he has played me.
And I mean to make an example of him.
May heaven grant that I do not catch my share in all this.
But, Monsieur Argante, this is not all. And the misfortunes, as you know, never come alone. I was looking forward to the happiness of today seeing my daughter, who was everything to me. And I have just heard that she left Tarentum a long while since, and there is every reason to suppose that the ship was wrecked and she is lost to me forever.
But why did you keep her in Tarentum instead of enjoying the happiness of having her with you?
I had my reasons for it. Some family interest forced me till now to keep my second marriage secret. But what do I see? What? You here, Nerine?
Ah,
Nerine on her knees before Géronte.
Mr. Pendolph, how are you?
Call me Géronte and do not use the other name anymore. The reasons which forced me to take it at Tarentum exist no longer.
Alas, what sorrow that change of name has caused us, and what troubles and difficulties in trying to find you out.
And where are my daughter and her mother?
Your daughter, sir, is not far from here, but before I go and fetch her, I must ask you to forgive me for having married her, because of the forsaken state we found ourselves in when we had no longer any hope of meeting you.
My daughter is married?
Yes, sir.
And to whom?
To a young man called Octave, the son of a certain Mr. Algon.
Oh, heaven!
What an extraordinary coincidence!
Take us quickly where she is.
You have but to come into this house.
Go in first. Follow me, Monsieur Argant.
Well, this is a strange affair.
Ah, Sylvester, how are people doing?
I have two things to tell you. One is that Octave is all right. Our Hyacinthe is, it seems, the daughter of Monsieur Géronte, and chance has brought to pass what the wisdom of the fathers had decided. The other, that the old men threaten you with the greatest punishments, particularly Monsieur Géronte.
Oh, that's nothing. Threats have never done any harm to me yet. They are but clouds which pass away far above our heads.
You had better take care. The sons may get reconciled to the fathers and leave you in the lurch.
Oh, leave that to me. I shall find the means of soothing their anger and...
By the way, I see them coming.
Come, my daughter, come to my house. My happiness would be perfect if your mother had been with you.
Here is Octave coming at just the right time. Come, my son, come and rejoice with us about the happiness of your marriage. Heaven...
No, no, Father. All your proposals for marriage are useless. I must be open with you, and you have been told how I am engaged.
Yes, but what you do not know...
I know all I care to know.
I mean to say that the daughter of Monsieur Géronte...
The daughter of Monsieur Géronte will never be anything to me.
It is she who...
You need not go on, sirs. I hope you will forgive me, but I shall abide by my resolution.
Octave, listen!
Be silent. I will listen to nothing.
Octave, your wife...
No, Father. Father, I would rather die than lose my dear Hyacinthe.
Placing himself by Hyacinthe.
Yes, all you would do is useless. This is the one to whom my heart is engaged. I will have no other wife.
Well, she it is whom we give you. What a madcap. You are never to listen to anything but your own foolish whim.
Hyacinthe showing Géronte.
Yes, Octave. This is my father, whom I have found again, and all our troubles are over.
Let us go home. We shall talk more comfortably at home.
Hyacinthe showing Zerbinette.
Ah, Father, I beg of you the favor not to part me from this charming young lady. She has noble qualities which will be sure to make you like her when you know her.
What? Do you wish me to take to my house a girl with whom your brother is in love and who told me to my face so many insulting things?
Forgive me, sir. I should not have spoken in that way if I had known who you were, and I only knew you by reputation.
By reputation, what do you mean?
Father, I can answer, for that she is most virtuous, and that the love my brother has for her is pure.
It's all very well. You would try now to persuade me to marry my son to her, a stranger, a street girl?
My father, You must no longer say that I love a stranger without birth or wealth. Those from whom I bought her have just told me that she belongs to an honest family in this town. They stole her away when she was 4 years old. And here is a bracelet which they gave me and which will help me to discover her family.
Ah, to judge by this bracelet, this is my daughter, whom I lost when she was 4 years old.
Your daughter?
Yes, I see she is my daughter. I know all her features again. My dear child.
Oh, what wonderful events.
Gentlemen, a most sad accident has just taken place.
What is it?
Poor Scapin.
Is a rascal whom I shall see hung.
Alas, sir, you will not have that trouble. As he was passing near a building, a bricklayer's hammer fell on his head and broke his skull, leaving his brain exposed. He is dying. And he is asked to be brought in here to speak to you before he dies.
Scapin. Scapin brought in by some men, his head wrapped up as if he were wounded.
Oh, gentlemen, you see me. You see me in a sad state. Oh, I would not die without coming to ask you for forgiveness of all those I have offended. Oh, gentlemen, before I give up the ghost, I beseech you to forgive me in all I've done amiss, particularly Monsieur Argent and Monsieur Gerard. Oh!
I forgive you. Die in peace, Scapin.
Oh, Monsieur Gerard, it is you, sir, I have offended the most because of the beating with a cudgel, which I...
Leave that alone.
Oh, I feel in dying an inconceivable grief for the beating which I...
Be silent.
That unfortunate beating that I gave,
Be silent, I tell you. I forgive you everything.
Oh, how alas, how good you are. But is it really with all your heart that you forgive me for the beating which I...
Yes, don't mention it. I forgive you everything. You are punished.
Oh, sir, how much better I feel for your kind words.
Yes, I forgive you, but on one condition, that you die.
How, sir?
I retract my words if you recover.
Oh, my pains are back!
Monsieur Gerard, let us forgive him without any condition, for we are all so happy.
Well, be it so.
Let us go to supper and talk of our happiness.
And you take me to the end of the table. It is there I will await my death.